It turns out that men and women are soft R artistic lately. Women have treated TikTok like that's the place to bitch and moan that I used to have friends to do, but now I have no friends, so I gotta bitch and moan on TikTok for likes and follows. Guys are like, I don't have any buds to talk about guy things anymore, and so now I have no knowledge of the outside world, and I have to follow Ribby the Frog or some other goofy internet personality to teach me about whammon, you know, because whammon ain't shit. Am I right?
Of course, you are right.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. You guys, between the three of us, I think we have about, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 years, many years of experience, many groups of men that we've been with, many co-ed groups, many feminine groups, whatever. And we're here to let you guys know about what you're missing. So here's the lead in, and you guys take the lead on this one. Growing up, when you were raised, when you had elementary school, when you had high school, how many male teachers versus female teachers did you have growing up?
Oh God, none. It wasn't.
I didn't know you were homeschooled. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't homeschooled. I went to a private school, and then, but yeah, until the 7th grade, I didn't have a male teacher.
Yeah,
Jeez.
great. Yeah, there was no male teachers in grade school. I had a number of great male teachers in high school and college, and it was one of the reasons why I chose the I got my degree in education, PE, and history. And the reason I picked those two was like I went to college to wrestle. Like that's why I went to college, not because I couldn't wait to get a job and whatever. I wanted to wrestle, so I had to do school stuff too. So I picked the subjects I hated the least.
Ooh.
I was like, well, I can tolerate, this. I had good teachers in those classes. I had awesome history teachers. Like they taught the dirt, guys fist fighting on the house floor and flipping tables over, and the fact that they had to start bolting down the tables because the politicians would flip the tables over and throw things at each other. So like everything got bolted down at a certain point. I thought,
dude, my teachers just smoked weed. I feel like I've missed out.
I had this one professor. It was a World War I or II, whatever class.
Probably World War II. World War I would have been a little frail.
Well, no. He was just teaching the history of it. It was a history of that. So he was like, while he would walk around on the desktops in this big, huge auditorium class thing, it was awesome. Like he was great. He was firing, and it was like fun to go to their class.
But yeah, you see, like male teachers, there's something about it that just hits different. I guess I'm different than you guys. So in elementary school, my principal, I remember my first experience with him was in grade 2 when he dragged a kid by the scruff of his neck out of a classroom because he wouldn't leave. He had like a big participation shirt. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's this Canadian CBC thing they used to have, like telling people to be healthy and lose weight. Clary, steal the participation stuff with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLennan. It will be great for your channel when you're telling people to stop being so fat and lazy. I swear to God. And it's got the great 80s vibe to it with like the rainbow stuff.
Yeah, where do I find that? Is it even for sale? Like, do I got to go to an antique store to find that stuff?
Participation stuff? I have no idea where to find it.
Participation? Hang on.
Participation, yeah. And my grade 2 teacher, again, Mr. Galvin, he's since passed on. He was a Navy veteran from like the 60s. Absolutely brutal. Like all this male stuff. So here's the lead-in for this stuff. So you guys seen it yourself. John, you had that great teacher jumping on tables, really passionate about history. It just hits
I had
different.
A few of them. I had at least 5 probably great male teachers that were really.
But you notice how it hit different than the female teachers?
Mm-hmm. They were telling us stuff we could use, yes.
Yeah, no, well, not just stuff you could use, but how they taught. They taught in a way that resonated with you. With a girl, my experience with the female teachers, it was always about you behaving. It was a control thing. Like, you need to act right so you can be the good student.
Do what I say.
Yeah, as opposed to guys where it's like, here's the rules, follow them, or it's your ass. And so as long as you learn certain normalized behaviors, like how to action like a functional person in the classroom and not a fucking caveman, everything was great.
Even getting in trouble, it was the teacher's reaction. I remember I got in trouble in high school. I got a Saturday school because somebody died, and I said, yeah, he died because he got a dildo stuck in his ass.
Did he?
No. And like the whole class erupted in laughter. Laughed his ass off. And then he's like, yeah, he goes, John, that was hilarious, but you got to say it. Like, you just can't say that. You can't say that in class. I was like, yeah, okay. You know, I mean, like, but it wasn't like if it was a female teacher, it would have been like, oh, and then like emotional and then all this other bullshit. But he was like, he laughed. He said it was hilarious, but like, you can't say that at school. It was punishment. It was very reasonable. Like, he's like, well, these are the rules, and you broke them. That's just it. And that was the end of it.
And dude, I think people misunderstand how like profound a statement that was. It's literally because here's the difference. That teacher telling him, dude, that was hilarious. You're still punished for it. That doesn't attack you as an identity, saying you're a bad person. A girl being horrified, and how dare would you say that? It's subtly teaching you to be less like entertaining, less
have
masculine.
etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, these are just rules. Yes, it's very funny, but this is not how normal people act in this thing. You know what I mean? Hey, welcome, Rolo. Dude, look at this. You've gone from the beanie to your full that is what's the dude? Use Your Illusion 2.
No, I'm not. I'm not full rose.
Chinese democracy.
As much as Aaron, and that's like the only rock star in like Aaron Clary's vocabulary.
I know Gene Simmons.
No, okay.
I'm aware of.
What about that guy in Aerosmith?
Steven Tyler. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. But back to this point, and like you guys probably have your own examples of this stuff too. And I know it's like the title is bromances, but something to be said for a guy in an authoritative position who's older, a little more mature, to show guys not just how to survive and thrive in a school social environment, but as a guy how to navigate it without losing what makes you a man. Because you don't want to be a woman, because no woman will want to have sex with you. No woman will want to have your babies. Just ask every tradcon who doesn't even have a girlfriend trying to save the West right now.
Are you talking like we had mentors of some kind outside of the family?
Well, I don't even want to say mentors.
Or more like groups, or just an example, perhaps.
Just examples. Like mentorship is a thing. Like you're specifically looking to somebody to gain skill in a certain thing. But I'm not that. Just like literally examples, exposure, if nothing else.
Exposure.
You know, like here, Rolo. Good question.
What can I pay for with my exposure bucks?
as I don't know if you can remember, but in elementary school and high school, what was your ratio of like male teachers to female teachers?
Oh, in high school? Oh, yeah. Man. So if anybody has seen Stranger Things, I was Eddie back then. I literally graduated in 1986. That's the year that they're supposed to have. I would say it was still more women, but there was I would say it's maybe 60-40 for guys. There was like shop teachers. We had coaches. My math teachers were all male. My science teachers, my history teacher was in high school was male. I distinctly remember Mr. Wells when I was like sophomore or senior year. And there's a few others that like notables, but I can name them, but I would say like I think probably at least 60%, maybe it was 60-40 mix back then. And this is the 80s, like mid 80s. So
is it not crazy though for you guys to think that nowadays guys may go their entire adult or to adulthood, having a single male authority figure in their life?
Stats on that one, yeah.
Oh, you don't even need stats. Just use your goddamn eyes. Talk to a Zoomer.
Yeah,
Dad's not home. Either he's a workaholic or they're divorced. No kids in elementary school for guys because they call them child diddlers and they don't pay them very well. So what guy's going to stick around for that?
Right. Well, that's
they chase them out too.
Yeah. Oh,
because they're not soft enough. They're not emotional enough. They're not woke enough. So a lot of the men get chased out of the profession.
Yeah, you're teaching toxic masculinity.
Why aren't you asking the kids about their pronouns and bullshit like that?
No,
you guys don't want to fucking deal with that.
Well, and that's why they're driven here. I mean, the only place you could probably go to get a masculine, I don't want to say father figure, but any kind of masculine male influence would have to be digital now.
Well, didn't Allie just tell you, like, Rolo, you're the dad of the group here, or were you, Claire? You won.
That survey was
that's Jordan Peterson because
Jordan Peterson
with his daughter. Yeah.
To be fair, the girls were fatherless, so like a drug addicted dad does seem kind of fitting. Too soon. I get it. I get it.
It was you this time,
dude. I wanted to fail that one so bad. I'm like, maybe it's my Peter Pan syndrome. Like, don't you call me dad? You call me Poppy.
Hey, Ryan, put that infographic up on the screen. I love it when people give me this. Where are all the male teachers? Right. This is the And I think this is actually kind of old data too. This is like 2009, 2012 when I picked this up.
So we're being optimistic about the state of affairs.
Yes, it's worse than this right now, but like this is as far back as, let's see, the earliest I think is 2007, 2008 is where this came from. But like you can even, I would love to see this updated, but like where are the male teachers? Like 25%, right? In the United States, men accounted for less than 25% of all teachers in the United States public schools, right? Canada is even worse than that. Only 17% of elementary teachers in Canada are male, and 25 again for the UK. Again, remember, this is old data. This is still for like almost 10 years, over 10 years old. So it's probably worse than this right now. And so you also got to remember, pupils try harder for male teachers. According to official studies, pupils make more effort to please male teachers, display greater self-esteem, and more likely to believe they are being treated fairly. Not unlike women complaining about female bosses, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Because women would rather, research has shown that women would rather have male bosses than female bosses because, you get that cat fight shit going on right there. But I would say that this is probably because like there's a natural want to look for leadership or like masculine, I guess, approval or whatever from men, right? And so many parents believe male teachers serve as a good role model for boys, particularly those without fathers in the home. Okay. So remember, this is over 10 years old. Teaching remains a female-dominated profession. This is especially true for younger children. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2% of pre-K kindergarten teachers and 18% of elementary middle school teachers are men. Now, why is that happening? First off, they want to say it's low status, right? If you're a teacher, you're not making a shit ton of money, okay? Then there's low salary. Obviously, you're not making a shit ton of money. I think even the starting salary for like a basic public school teacher is probably maybe $40,000 a year.
Depends on the
Maybe,
district.
might be a little bit more than that. I'm not sure. It depends on like what your specialization is, I guess. And then there's fear of accusations, like you were saying before. They don't want to be called like little kitty touchers and stuff like that. And their margin for error is much greater, much higher than it is for women. So that's why you see, like, people kept asking me, Rollo, why do I keep seeing all of these stories about female teachers essentially they're rapists is what they are, because it's statutory rape. The kids that female teachers have sex with cannot, by law, by definition, give consent to have sex. Therefore, it is statutory rape. But we don't call it that. We call it a sexual tryst or a liaison or whatever. And the first thing out of anybody's mouth is, oh, where are those girls when I was in high school? Yuck, 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 yuck. Right? But the fact of the matter is, people hit me up and they go, why is this so endemic right now? I go, because only women are teaching. That's why. You go and you look at the statistics. This is from like 10 years ago. Only women are teaching your kids right now, more or less, unless it's a coach. Right, unless it's like a football coach, maybe. And
but that's
even
because people actually care about the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Like real result. Yeah, because that's essentially what's happening. So when people say, "Well, I as far back as 2017, 2018, when I was doing the Pat Campbell show, terrestrial radio, he would hit me up. He goes, "Why do you think this is happening?" I go, "Because there's only women that are teaching your kids right now. We teach our boys as if they're defective girls, and they're being taught by women who want to teach them as if they're little girls, because that's the only way that they know how to teach."
Yeah, and dude, there's so many of them too. Clary, you know Frank Cervi, right?
Yeah, Frank, sure, of course.
He's actually he's got two things. He's got that Playboy magazine that he does, and then there's enough child diddlers, female teachers, that he actually can make like a social media branding campaign from it. He's been doing it for years. It's crazy. Like, that's how big of a problem it is now. It's now a marketing demographic like strategy.
I think the big thing too, though, is they've turned schooling in general into daycare. It's just daycare. And
you nailed it, Fitch. It's a babysitting operation.
I was going to be a teacher. Like, I had my teaching license. I student taught. I did some substitute teaching too, and it's not the schooling that I grew up with. It was pandering to these kids and just making sure everybody was fine and happy, and it was just daycare. It was daycare for high school kids, and I couldn't believe it. And the teachers that I was around and I saw that were teaching for 20 some years, they looked like they had their soul sucked out of them. because they had no control, like they couldn't discipline. And this is 20 years ago. And and that was the decision. I was like, I would rather risk everything and go and travel, 2,000-3,000 miles to the West Coast and fight people for money than get involved in the system, because it's broken.
Ian, not Ryan Stone. I think he's the most important guy in the world. Ryan Stone. Give a about Ryan Stone. Me and him have gone back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Stone does not pass the 6 foot test. He's not even a man. So I don't give a Ryan Stone.